As we've kind of said, is that this is this particular storm here that is moving into Iowa County with that increased in rotation that we have seen. That's where we are getting a little bit more of that tornado threat and why they are continuing and issuing out these tornado warnings. But this is also kind of just a favorable area to see a little bit more of that low-level rotation. We've had a couple of storms that have had mid-level rotation, and we haven't quite seen sort of this velocity couplet in this potential for maybe where a tornado could be happening there, but this is kind of overriding the warm front, which is kind of draped across the area right here and has given it sort of a good spot and a good area to potentially see a little bit more of that rotation as we move forward. So we're going to kick it back over to just the regular reflectivity here and give you a little bit of an idea of how things are ongoing with this storm as well. You can see some of those areas receiving obviously the threat for a tornado there. That would include areas right there along Highway 149 as well. But there's just a lot of heavy rain as these storms are moving into the area. We've got flash flood warnings out just off to the west there, where we've had rain reports anywhere from 2 to 3 inches in just a very, very short amount of time as those storms are pushing into the area a little bit more. So certainly a little bit of that concern with just all of the water that we will be dealing with as well. I do want to zoom things out just a little bit once again because we have more storms that are into the area here besides this one. So along with that tornado warning that we're seeing, we're obviously looking at a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings as well, as that is pushing into the area. Those are for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts into Iowa as well as Washington and Keokuk counties. Plenty of more severe thunderstorm warnings, even that tornado warning down near Ottumwa. Not into the area yet, but certainly another bit of that concern that could potentially, if the track holds and we continue to see some areas of rotation, southern Keokuk County could be in on potentially seeing some tornadoes. But overall, we're still seeing some heavy rain across the area here. If we give you just a little bit more of that wide view across the area, you can see heavy rain that is expanded up into northeastern Iowa and down south, but obviously our main concern, at least at this time, is those stronger storms that are continuing to move into the area with the threat for the. As we look back, I'm going to put on some of our velocity trackers once again just to give us an idea of kind of what is going on, and still seeing that area just a little bit starting to move its way into northern Keokuk County there and western parts of Iowa County. There's still a little bit of some rotation, rather broad at least at this point on kind of what we're seeing here. But certainly could have some more issues on whether or not we begin to see this tighten up. I've noticed that the National Weather Service really hasn't indicated a whole lot else with this particular tornado warning. We continue to see updates as scans move through. It's not quite as impressive of a signature, at least at this time, but certainly cause for concern. So if we give you just some of those counties once again where this will be working its way on into, we want you to make sure that you're in your safe spot right now, making sure that you are getting into shelter. If you know anybody who's either driving down here near North English, the Gibson area, that would include Highway 141, that's to the south of Williamsburg there, as well as Wellman. That warning is just on the edge of Wellman there, as well as Highway 22, which goes on the southern part of that warning there. Make sure you're trying to find shelter at this point, trying to find someplace just indoors to get out of things for a bit. But overall, the trends on that look a little bit better. It's not quite as tight in terms of the couplet that we are seeing, and that is certainly some good news there. Grayson, I know you're also probably checking with the National Weather Service. You can kind of check Twitter for maybe some pictures and stuff, and our folks in the back, if you're kind of checking pictures on Twitter and everything and kind of just keeping me updated in my ear and whether or not we have some of that stuff or at least some confirmed images there of what is moving into the area. It looks like we've had a little bit of an extension there on that severe thunderstorm warning now. We will work our way down there a little bit further just to get an idea of what this new severe thunderstorm warning is just to the south of this here. So new severe thunderstorm warning out. This will go until 6 o'clock. That does cover most of Keokuk County, just south of that tornado warning there, as well as parts or western parts of Washington County. We'll have to be watching on the front and leading edge of this as well, near Sigourney, Hedrick. There could be some areas when we get sort of those little notches within some of the leading lines of these storms, and is another one of those areas potentially where we could see a little bit of rotation maybe as that is moving through the area here. So that would include Highway 92, a good rush of wind as those storms move into the area, 60 miles per hour. We're seeing hail that obviously isn't up to severe criteria, but will certainly be something that will need to be watched and monitored here. But we talked about how we had the impacts potentially for all sorts of weather. All hazards were in play today for tornadoes as well as those damaging winds, and we're kind of starting to see that come to fruition here as these storms are using the energy from that warm front and the instability that has been built here across the area over the last little bit. Yes, so we got a shot of Interstate 80 up there, if you want to maybe pull that one up here real quick. And yeah, we can see that. That looks like we're looking west. That's I-80 mile marker 210. And you can see one of the other big concerns that we have been looking at or going to be dealing with is that heavy rain that will be falling across the area here. And with that good rush of wind out of these storms where we've got 60, possibly even close to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, that could certainly be a little bit of a concern as well in terms of very tough driving conditions, dealing with some of that blinding rain as it moves into the area here. You may see me checking my phone. I'm just checking in with the National Weather Service as well and kind of watching some of their monitoring updates and what they're kind of watching, at least at this point. No updates on that tornado warning to the north for right now, but you can see at least on that new severe thunderstorm warning, there's really no obvious spots of rotation near Sigourney or Hedrick down there in southern Keokuk County, but the main concern is just to the north of that, where we've got those severe thunderstorm warnings as well as that tornado warning there. And honestly, this couple, it's not looking quite as impressive, but certainly could see some good rushes of wind out of this as well. That's where we're getting that 70 mile per hour threat for wind as that is moving into the area. So Williamsburg certainly be taking your precautions there as well, even though you're not immediately in the tornado warning, at least at this point. You will be dealing with some of those strong wind gusts as well as heavy rain that does continue to push its way into the area there. I'm going to go back and pull up just reflectivity for us. It gives us a little bit of a cleaner picture on things, gives you an idea of where some of that rain is at. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning continues, at least at this time. So this is the area where we have that greatest concern. We saw obviously the rotation really pick up there near Montezuma, just to the north of Gibson, that tightening of that couplet, which could potentially be the indicators there of maybe a tornado that could be maybe in progress, or a lot of rotation taking place here rather close to the ground levels, at least at this time. But overall, that couplet's not looking quite as impressive, but certainly going to be seeing those darkening of the skies and the heavy rain that will be pushing into the area here within the next couple of minutes. Grayson, you can check things up a little bit. Have you seen any more information here from the National Weather Service or anything on Twitter that has kind of maybe proved anything?
No, literally no photos online at all. But again, one of the main things when we have all these thunderstorms back to back and these warnings that are coming up is to make sure, we've said this a lot, make sure you have multiple ways to get warnings. Make sure just a few things, maybe have a portable charger in case we lose power, or have an emergency kit in case anything were to happen. And if you are driving, again, kind of piggybacking off of what you were just saying about the heavy rain, if you're driving and the rain starts coming down pretty hard, maybe consider pulling over, because once that visibility goes down and you can't see the cars around you, or the roads are slipping around, and that can lead to some accidents for you and other people. So again, if you're not at home, or if you are at home, make sure you're getting into that safe space, into your basement, getting away from the windows, and again, just making sure you have ways to get these warnings as they keep popping up through the afternoon. And yeah, just kind of make sure you talk about your plan with your family, because we're still going to be having a lot of these storms popping up here through the next few hours. But nothing I'm seeing on Twitter and the National Weather Service is not really saying much either. So yeah, not in Des Moines as well. So I think we're kind of just waiting now to see what the next updates are. They're continuing this tornado warning for Iowa, Keokuk, and Washington as of just a few minutes ago. And that's going to be in effect until 5:30. But again, I'm not really seeing any photos or anything from anyone that's outside. So yeah, we're just going to wait and see. So we still have this tornado warning. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning. And yeah, just make sure again, if you are outside, if you are on the roads, that you're taking proper precautions and you're pulling over if you need to avoid getting into any accidents. Have multiple ways to receive warnings if you are at home, whether that's on your TV, on your phone. If you have a weather radio, that's always good as well. But yeah, just make sure you're going over all the necessary precautions.
Certainly, yeah. And obviously that's one of the many ways we can get you warnings here. There's always a concern with power outages, potentially that can lead to issues where we get some of those power outages. You kind of struggle to maybe get ways for warnings with the TV going out. So phone is always a great option there as we're kind of monitoring things here. The other thing to note with these severe thunderstorm warnings that are starting to work their way on through the area here, these do have a little bit of a tag on it that says that we could see a tornado possible out of this. But just that one tornado warning right now, if you're just joining us, kind of wondering where the 5 o'clock newscast is, we've got one tornado warning out across the area here, and is sort of what we're continuing to monitor as we move forward. Far northwestern Washington County there, where we still got this tornado warning that is in effect for right now. Nothing confirmed, haven't seen anything confirmed, at least for now, but we have had at least some decent areas of rotation here, and we're continuing to see, obviously, where we want that tightening couplet of the red colors coming in with the green colors, that indicates where we could potentially see some potential rotation. That's a little bit broad right now in terms of what we're seeing here, as that is kind of riding just along the line there of Iowa and Keokuk County there a little bit. But obviously that is our concern, and we'll continue to stay with things. Even though the rotation doesn't look quite as impressive right now, there certainly is the chance that we could see some of that there as these storms are moving through the area here. Let me go down and might try and pull up a couple of live cameras as well. Give us maybe a few more. Folks in the back, if you've got some more cameras on Interstate 80, it might be a good idea there, maybe near Williamsburg or even west of that, where that heavy rain is ongoing, just to kind of give folks a little bit of an idea of how these storms are and the difficulties that will bring in terms of driving in it here. So let me know if you've got something else pulled up or if you've got anything else back there as we move forward. So heavy rain now moving into the Williamsburg area, North English as well, Sigourney a little bit further south of Sigourney there, obviously dealing with heavy rains that will be moving towards Wellman, Keota as well. And yeah, we get a little bit of a split box here. Yeah, you can actually see that heavy rain ongoing here. That is near the Williamsburg area once again. Got some heavy rain that is ongoing. Obviously not maybe enough to get traffic to pull over. It sounds like we're actually hearing maybe a little bit of noise outside our station right now. We are still dealing with showers and storms just to the north of that continue to move through the area. It's sub-severe, but could see a good rush of wind as those storms are moving in across the area as well. But this is our main concern. We've still got about 30 minutes on this warning, at least at this time. Haven't had much in the way of reports of this storm moving through the area now, and in terms of what we're seeing out of that rotation. The Des Moines, the National Weather Service in Des Moines, they just canceled that warning for Mahaska and Poweshiek County as those warnings are now a little bit more into our area. But haven't heard anything from the National Weather Service, haven't heard of any confirmations either with any potential touchdowns of those storms. So that is at least good news that we're not seeing anything in that terms. You can bring me full now back on the chroma key if you want here as well. So let me just take a little bit of a wider view, give you sort of the kind of scope of things here. If we zoom things out a little bit more here, obviously there were a few more tornado warnings. There still is one down in southern Iowa, but but the one near Ottumwa canceled, so that's good news. We've got more showers and storms off to the north a little bit here that are sub-severe. That does include places like Cedar Rapids here in the metro area. We are dealing with some ongoing showers and storms that are moving through the area, and then further off to the north and east. We didn't really expect much in terms of severe weather up in this area just because of the lack of instability that was going to be in play. These storms are just right along that warm front that has provided enough fuel to get those going. Obviously, with a lot of heavy rainfall, if we just move off out of the area a little bit, these are some of the other concerns with these storms moving in. The volume of rain, the amount of storms, is that flash flooding threat. So that will be something as well as we move forward. Grayson, just checking back in with you.
Yeah.
Anything from the National Weather Service or anything that you're seeing on social media at this time?
Yeah, we're finally getting a few photos. I saw in the National Weather chat in Des Moines, they were showing a flooded intersection, and this car looks like it's like half underwater. So the flooding over in Des Moines is getting pretty bad. And then I also found on YouTube a storm chaser that is currently in Ottumwa, and he's kind of chasing the storm. You can see the heavy rainfall coming down, and there are quite a few people on the road, and some of them have their hazards on, so that's good. And then I also saw on Twitter a photo from Parnell, Iowa, and you can see kind of this storm development and these darker clouds. And you can kind of see the storm in the distance as well. I believe that's southwest of us, Parnell, and then where the storm chaser is currently in Ottumwa, I believe that's southwest of us as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that is southwest, and there was a tornado down there recently. I know we've got some video that we want to share. We can pull that up for you, and remind me, I'm not quite sure if we still have that video on. This is west of North English there. We got a little bit of video here as we're kind of pulling that up. Obviously, you can see the darkening blue skies. Trying to see if there might be any sort of kind of rotation there in that video. Kind of tough to tell, obviously, but certainly still dealing with that tornado warning in those particular areas there near North English as we're kind of looking off. But nice little shelf cloud there as well that we can see right now, at least on that potential video. So we'll head back over to Velocity just to kind of check in on things with this tornado warning at this point. It does look like they are going to be continuing that now here across the area still until 5:30. Might want to take a little bit of a closer look at that area now, as that obviously we continue to get updates on this area of rotation, kind of move in. So we'll zoom things on in a little bit. And obviously this is just outside the warning area here, but that might be some place to kind of be of concern there. That looks like maybe another little pocket of some rotation. There's North English, where we just showed you some of that video from. There's South English there as well, and potentially seeing some rotation there just to the south and west of South English, but that would put it just outside that warning. We'll have to see what the National Weather Service wants to do with that particular storm there as well, as we continue to go, since that is just outside the warning. But places like North English down to Keota going to be dealing with some heavy rain moving on in, but that is sort of the area that we'll continue to watch here and monitor. That will be north of Sigourney. You've got Highway 22 here that stretches its way on through the area. That would be pretty close to where that potential area of rotation is at. We got another picture here west of Williamsburg here on one of the DOT cameras. There's some more of that heavy rain. Obviously, could be some difficult driving for some folks as they continue to move forward there. That would be sort of the potential. That would be sort of the conditions that you are driving in, at least at this point, as those push into the area here. So that would be obviously some dangerous driving conditions. Looks like folks are taking it a little bit slower, but that would be certainly some of the conditions folks would be driving in here. Back to radar and our velocity scans right now, continuing to kind of watch things here. Obviously, if we pull me back in just a little bit closer here, I want to head back to our radar and just look at just radar in general, where some of that heavier rain is going right now. Still have that tornado warning warning across the area here, there into parts of Iowa County, down into Keokuk County, as well as far northwestern Washington County here. That is our one lone tornado warning across the area tonight here. We've seen some shots and kind of snippets of what has been a little bit tighter rotation, a little bit here locally, but overall things have kind of broadened out at least a little bit here as we've gone forward. Grayson, anything else that you're kind of seeing or watching for now?
The last thing the Quad Cities said was they were continuing that tornado warning for our area. Des Moines just actually issued another severe thunderstorm warning. So again, we're really just watching these several rounds of storms kind of just piggybacking off of each other. And we still have the tornado warning for our area here until 5:30. And I'm not seeing anything else. I'm really not seeing anything on Twitter actually, or any photos. I've been watching this storm chaser on YouTube. We do have the Road Warrior that is out right now. I think they're down by Iowa City. So depending on how the storms kind of show up there, Road Warrior, I don't know, yeah, Road Warrior, and I don't know if they're going to be going live anytime soon. So we're going to be watching that as well. Oh, they are live. Cool. Okay. And yeah, I'm not really seeing anything else here from the National Weather Service. They're just kind of talking about this tornado warning. We've got some hail with these storms, some lightning, and they're saying, I don't know if there's any damage. I don't know if anyone has any power outages yet around the area. I might pull that up actually. And yeah, so we're kind of just, what's this? Yeah, but really nothing on social media, so I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully we'll continue to kind of watch and see if there is any damage or whatnot potentially from some of the damaging winds that we've seen. Just new information from the National Weather Service. The rotation near the Iowa-Keokuk County border area, a little bit broader now. Maybe that tornado threat is kind of diminishing a little bit, so there might be the chance that we see this warning expire here at 5:30, and we'll be able to get you back to sort of that regular programming here. But the one thing to kind of keep in mind here is overall the environment is still very well in play to potentially see a potential tornado threat, and then I think as we go over the next couple of hours, a little bit more of that wind threat there, where we could potentially see some of those higher velocities now as this begins to shape up. The brighter the colors would be an indication of at least some of those stronger winds that will be pushing into the area there now. But obviously rotation just very, very broad across most of the area here. And it looks like kind of some of this stuff is beginning to become a little bit more maybe outflow dominant, which would lessen that tornado threat, but certainly we'll be dealing with more of that damaging wind threat, as we might get maybe more of a bowing segment and a bowing line here. Just kind of giving you a little bit more of a wider view across the area. Just that one tornado warning here, we're sitting at 525. So hopefully things stay as the way they are. We're going to be able to let that tornado warning there expire at 5:30, and then we'll be able to kind of reset things here a little bit more. But still looking at these severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Heavy rain, winds moving in near Sigourney there. That has obviously some of the concern across the area there, where we've got those strong wind gusts moving through, which might become the dominant threat here over the next little bit. Hedrick, Richland as well. You are dealing with probably some stronger winds moving in. I might put a little bit of a tracker on this line here of these storms that are moving across the area, and just give us a little bit of an update on this line extending kind of near Williamsburg, where we're expecting more of those kind of stronger storms right now down into Washington County, and extend it out past where some of those warnings are, just to give you an idea of when you might see some of these winds increasing. So Keota, within the next half an hour, that entire line of storms here will be moving in around 5:30. Wellman 5:34. more. And as we head back up into Johnson County, we're talking places like Tiffin at around 542, the Coral Ridge Mall around 547, in Iowa City, potentially within the next half an hour here or so, we could see storms moving into the area, but we haven't seen an extension of that tornado warning, but we do see an extension of that severe thunderstorm warning now. So we will take a little bit of a look at that in terms of where that extension has been made, and kind of in that area where we've noticed those very strong winds moving into the area, we've seen an extension of that severe thunderstorm warning. So this does cover parts of Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, as well as Washington counties here. This is just to the south of Iowa City, an extension on that severe thunderstorm warning now. This is a considerable severe thunderstorm warning just given the wind speed alone. We're seeing those wind speed gusts around 70 miles per hour, so 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. It's not at our destructive levels yet, but that is certainly can cause damage even if we don't have much of a tornado threat, at least at this point. So we'll just put a little bit of kind of a smaller tracker on that now in terms of how quickly these storms are moving here, moving around 35 miles per hour, 35 to 40 miles per hour. So not the quickest movers, but we'll have to see whether or not those begin to maybe speed up and pick up pace a little bit here. But Iowa City not included in this new severe thunderstorm warning, but we'll give you just an idea of where these storms will be moving through. Wellman still about 535 here, Sharon Center around 546, potentially Iowa City, even though not in the warning. You'll be seeing these storms move in within the next half an hour or so as these storms are starting to pick up speed a little bit, but still moving kind of slowly at around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So a couple of minutes left on this severe thunderstorm warning. I'm still watching to see whether or not they're going to let this go. There hasn't been much more information, hasn't been much in the way of any more serious kind of rotation. So that is kind of what we're watching. If we can get to 5:30, we'll probably be able to let it go. But we have some more video here. We can give you a kind of a look at here. Let me know where this is at. Oh, this is near Sigourney. You can see some of that video that is moving in, and yeah, man, that is an impressive looking clouds, of course, as those move on in. A little bit of that fast forward time lapse, and yeah, those clouds moving in very, very quickly here, working in, and then you can just see the winds really begin to pick up a little bit, and the heavy rain as well that'll be moving in. That's just one of those concerns that we'll be dealing with as we go throughout the rest of tonight here. So we'll give you a little bit of just an idea here. We've still got this tornado watch that is out for much of eastern Iowa, mainly to the south of Highway 20 there. That includes places like here in Cedar Rapids, and you can see now as that line of storms has moved in, we're seeing some of those tornado watches get trimmed off. So Tama County now out of that here. We're about a minute away. We'll see what the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities wants to do, but it more than likely looks like we will see that tornado warning be allowed to expire here. We'll just take one more minute, but you can see besides the heavy rain, a lot of lightning going to be possible out of these storms. So with that lightning, obviously we want you to make sure that you're getting inside, obviously dealing with those winds, and that tornado warning now allowed to expire here just down to the south. So we do have some streets flooded down near Oskaloosa here, obviously just outside the viewing area, but this is that heavy rain that is moving through portions of the area now. So that is what is going to be happening, and potentially could be happening in terms of some of that urban street flooding that we are seeing now. And you can see, yeah, it's obviously if you see some of that water over the roadways, you obviously maybe not know how deep it is, so make sure you're kind of turning around, trying not to drive through it there. Obviously, we'll always see some ponding of the water. So that tornado warning has now been let go and allowed to expire. So we'll kind of recap things here real quick, show you where our warnings are at. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning, Iowa, Johnson, Keokuk, and Washington counties. Doesn't include Iowa City, but certainly we'll see some strong wind gusts there. These are wind speeds up to 70 miles per hour. So a lot of heavy rain, some strong winds could lead to some kind of whiteout conditions in terms of being very difficult to travel there. Travel certainly difficult right now near another severe thunderstorm warning just south of that in parts of southern Keokuk and far western Washington counties. This severe thunderstorm warning is for 60 50 miles per hour. That will go until 6 o'clock tonight. We will continue to update things here because you can see sort of with this segment of storms, maybe getting a little bit more of that Boeing type shape. That would indicate the damaging wind threat that could continue to increase here over the next couple of hours. So we'll continue to watch things. With no tornado warnings, that allows us to kind of get off the air a little bit. So we'll continue to update things as more warnings come in and more reports. But for now, we're going to get you back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Get weather-warn alerts on all your devices. Stay ahead of the storm with Iowa's News Now, Weather First.